Hello, everybody. It's Dispeller. Good morning. It's 10:13 a.m. over here, and there's not much sun shining, but it's pretty bright out. And I hear that it is very nice out because Matthew was outside earlier, and he's running some errands. So, anyways, today is day 29 of the book that we've been doing called "How to Heal a Broken Heart in 30 Days." A day-by-day guide to saying goodbye and getting on with your life. I will remind you, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. If it's of value to you, pass it along, like and share, and hit the little bell so you don't so that you don't miss any future uploads. Alrighty then. So yesterday was awesome. We talked about gratitude, being grateful even for the little things, even in the midst of your misery of having lost the person that you love, the friend that you love, the companion that you love, etc. Always having a grateful heart. Today we're talking about something really interesting. So the original premise of the book was just helping you let go and move on. This is actually going to teach you how not to drive away your next new love interest. Something that not a lot of books and people talk about. But it's going to give you the step-by-step strategy, so to speak, on how to present yourself in the best light and put your best foot forward. So that's coming up shortly. Anyways, so let's get on with our reading. And as I always say, if you have anything you want to chat in the comments or later on, if you're watching this video, please feel free to leave a comment down below. And if you're enjoying this series, be sure and don't miss any of the other days that I've done already. Days like remember, forgiveness, peace, trust, introspection, all excellent chapters, days of this book. Don't miss them. I will try to link some actually to this video when I'm finished. All right, so preparation. A world of new encounters. The initial goal of this book was to give you the tools you need to ward off stress and depression. Our final goal is to help you find the strength you need to heal your emotional wounds. Once again, let us reiterate that you can't promote healing by jumping into a replacement relationship, and that vowing to be a secular monastic in hopes of acquiring some kind of contemplative wisdom will be equally unwise for most of our readers. What that means is don't go either jumping right into something new or becoming a monk and vowing to never love again. Either one of those extremes is not advisable unless it is your calling in life to be a monk. All we urge you to do is raise your awareness in order to make better choices, whatever or whenever these choices may be. For example, some of you may have a strong enough self-esteem to try dating almost immediately. As long as your purpose is strictly self-educational, this might be an instructive experience. After being in an intimate relationship for a while, people often forget their dating skills. But if your initial dating experiments go awry, then you may become soured on the prospects and process. It's like seeing a bad movie. Once you do, you don't want to go to see another one for a while. In other words, aka, do not set yourself up for failure by rushing things too soon, unless you're doing it as an experiment to kind of test the waters and see where you're at in the dating game. If you do rush into a new relationship, even though you know it's not perfect, you may believe it will give you a way to create distance between you and your ex. Some people even take refuge in such a modest affair because they know it will protect them from the risks of a deeper and more demanding kind of sharing. Our judgment aside, all we say to such people is pay attention. You're still healing. The choices you make now can help or set back your progress. By elevating your awareness, you should attain a broad new perspective. The greater range of your view will help you to more clearly see your new opportunities. Some may turn up quickly. The best will take a while to perceive. We're not saying that you should hold back from dating or socializing. You're certainly not a child, and you don't deserve to be punished. We just urge you to maintain your standards whenever you socialize. In other words, aka boundaries. You are finally learning to define yourself as just who you are, not as a mate who is tied to another. When you can take joy in that fact, your future opportunities will become greater. As you heal and begin to look around once again, here's a checklist to afford you some guidance. Give all of these ideas time to take hold. So this is the step-by-step checklist type thing I told you earlier that we were going to be talking about. Here we go. So number 1, how do you feel? People can read a lack of self-confidence in your eyes. Here's a cruel fact. It's a turnoff. Don't amble among strangers until you're easily able to step out with a smile and keep your head held high. If you project a sense of vulnerability, you may attract a rescuer. Not a good thing. That someone may give you an emotional support in exchange for your love, but beware, basing your dealings on this kind of dependency may stunt your emotional evolution. You also might hook up with a narcissist. They're always looking for people that are quote unquote down on their luck, despondent over a lost love. That's how I met my narcissist, Becky. I had just split up with Dove, my former friend, and there was Becky to the rescue. I would never treat you like that. It's like she tossed you into the wilderness, out into the cold, and threw you a bone. I would never treat anybody like that. She treated me way worse than Dove did. Trust me. In the end, because she turned out to be a narcissist. Dove was mostly just borderline. So vast difference. Dove had feelings. Becky, not so much. How do you look? Do you look your best? Have you let yourself go? Do you need to get back in shape or restyle your hair? If you project a sloppy and uncaring image, you'll most likely attract the lowest common denominators into your life. Number 3, how do you meet people? Where do you look? What kinds of places make you feel comfortable about talking with strangers? Do you have a list of places you can go with friends? Do you use a dating service? Be careful when you're out there in the dating world. Please, 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 and I beg of you, I made this mistake and almost died, literally, after almost being assaulted in a very vicious way. Make sure if you are dating anew, that you go to a public place as often as possible till you are sure of that person's personality and it's somebody that you feel completely 100% safe with. Because if you put yourself out there and you go back to their apartment or their place, anything can happen and nobody's going to hear from you because you're locked in a room or a house. It's too late at that point. Please don't rush things. Please listen to whatever that inner spirit, inner heart is telling you. If you feel nervous around somebody, if you feel like something's off, please carefully, safely extricate yourself from the situation. Do not go into a closed environment with that person. That's definitely my biggest advice for you in this whole thing. Okay. How are your social skills? Were you once a good flirt? Hi, mask spoofer. Are you still? Can you laugh easily and make other people laugh with you? Do you see yourself as someone you'd want to spend time with? Or are you showing even the least little bit of desperation? Yeah, you don't want to show desperation. Hi, spoof. Good morning. Practice making new friends and acquaintances every day of the week. The best loves are often born of genuine friendships. Oh, that's so true. When I met my husband, Matthew, the one thing he kept telling me was, I don't want to get really involved. I just want a friend. I just want to become best friends. I was the one pushing it. I was the one who had been a wife for 20-something years in 2 other marriages. I wanted a husband. I didn't want a friend. In fact, I felt very slighted when he would say he just wanted to be friends. But honestly, that was the absolute best way to start a relationship, was just by being friends, hanging out, playing video games, playing board games, eating dinner together, getting to really know each other, asking lots of questions. So important. So many people hook up based on hormones and based on that urge to merge, as I call it. And you don't ever really get to know who the heck you're merging with until it's too late. You wake up one day and say, good God, what did I do? This guy is scary, or this girl is freaky, and they are just like either all over me or don't want anything to do with me. They're cheating. They're shady. I didn't see this, because you didn't take time to see it. You have to take time to get to know somebody. Okay, as a friend first. All right, I read that. When you want to develop more depth and meaning in any relationship, seek to meet your own emotional needs first, rather than trying to satisfy the expectations that the other person may have. Oh my gosh, that's so important. So many of us are codependent. We were raised by parents that taught us, to be good little girls and boys and to just do as mommy and daddy say and to obey, basically. And then you meet a person, and maybe you were raised in a family like I was, very, very Bible based. Well, my foster family was, and you submit under whoever it is you're with, if you're a woman. And if you're a man, you get to take control. And so you learned that no matter what he said, you didn't question it, you just did it. And the next thing you know, he's having you do all kinds of stuff that you're totally against. But people take that verse out of context. Even in the Bible, we weren't put here to be a man's doormat. And men, you were not put here to control and dominate and treat women like garbage either. So you got to find out, the establishment of that balance there, that equality. I'm happy to say that, honestly, Matthew and I have more of an equal balance when it comes to that type of authority. We don't have children together, obviously, other than our fur kids, but with each other, we listen to each other's idea. We try to be on an equal level. If anything, I try to dominate. I do. I'm the one that tries to wear the pants in the family, so to speak, but Matthew won't have it. So there's a good balance there. He keeps me in check, and I pull him off his high horse. So it works really well for us. 7, don't be a pleasure pig. Stay away from high-speed fantasy flings. Don't simply seek the visceral thrill of making a conquest. If you keep falling and flailing your way into and out of what you may somehow call love, you'll end up running in circles rather than growing. Recognize where your true satisfaction comes from and work patiently toward that end. Again, it takes time. Before you even consider falling in love with anyone again, get a sense of where the other person may take you. Seek out her heart or his heart and the beauty within them before you seek to do anything else. Look for love in a lot of new places and ways. Perhaps the reason you got a track record for hurting is that you've made the same mistakes with each new relationship. And just because someone responds to your overtures doesn't mean he or she will be suitable for you. Romance may be tragic, but its spells are by no means easy to master. There is this one guy, I will call him Bill. It's not his real name, but we'll call him Bill. And he seemed like the ideal mate. He was dreamy. He was romantic. He was the cowboy type, which I know you wouldn't think Dispeller would be into the cowboy type, but for some reason, I decided to go with the cowboy, the Stetson hat, the jeans, and the pointed toe cowboy boots, the real country guy. I guess I had tried other guys, relationships with other guys, and it didn't pan out. So I thought, well, I'll try what a lot of the ladies do. They like that country style guy. So I went with him. And he would meet me after work, and he'd be all over me, kissing me and hugging me. And there was such a wonderful physical chemistry. Turned out the guy was so needy and so clingy and so draining. I finally had to drop him because all he wanted was to cling. I couldn't breathe. It was just constant pawing me, and not only just the physical stuff, but the emotional stuff. Oh, you are the love of my life. You're so beautiful. I don't know where I'd be without you. I couldn't exist if it wasn't for you. Like really dramatic, drippy. I don't know. It made me uncomfortable. It was too much, too much, too much. It was a whole lot of extra. So I had to let him go. I had to say bye to Bill. And I remember standing at my car and him saying, "Are you sure? Are you sure this is what you want? Are you sure you want to leave me? Are you sure?" "Yeah, I'm sure, Bill." "Yeah, but I won't be able to make it without you. You're my everything. You are the reason why I live and breathe." And I'm like, "This is exactly why, Bill. I can't do this. No." So I had to literally get in the car with what felt like him clinging to my leg practically. "Please don't leave. Please don't go. I'm going to die." Oh God, it was terrible. He was very borderline too, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, I couldn't do it. So I left, and it was dismal. Yeah. That's too much. But as they said, the person that seems to click with you, like the person that's the romantic, the person that is the nurturer, or the person that wants to, bond with you, might not be the right person just because they're into it. They're like, "Oh, I like you too. And I like you. And we got a nice little chummy thing here." But they might not be the right person for you, as I found out with Bill. "Hi, baby boy. This is the right person right here. This is Bobo." He's my right person, aren't you, buddy? Yeah, you can't do better than this. My sweetie pie. Okay. Um, let's see. Don't make any new lover pay for your old traumas. Don't look for new love to cure your old ills. That's your job, not theirs. Learn how to cut your losses more quickly. Keep your emotional bags packed and parked by the door until you're absolutely sure this one's for you. If you don't have a good feeling about someone, move on quickly, but as graciously as possible. Otherwise, you'll pay the price of dealing with more pain. True story. Don't show off the scars from your past relationships, Laura. Talking to myself on that one. New prospects may only conclude you're a professional victim and head for the hills. True. I never thought about that when I was dating, but yeah, complaining about your old loves with your new one, bad plan. Take stock of who you are privately when you're relaxed with your guard down. That's the real you, the person you should project when you're ready to openly pursue a compatible mate. Come here, sweetie pies. Come here, my sweet boy. I know, I love you too. Give people a chance, but don't ignore your instincts. Be a good interior detective, especially about your own needs. Acknowledge it early if you're likely to face irreconcilable differences down the road, even if love seems strong at the outset. Unresolved issues can eventually undermine that foundation. So pay attention, keep your eyes open, your ears open, your heart open, and don't be vulnerable. Don't be too clingy. Don't be too aloof. Find that nice little balance by working on yourself first. Love your neighbor as yourself, which means first you got to love yourself, then you can have the capacity to love the neighbor, right? Right. Okay. Then there are questions of beauty and character. Of course, beauty is only skin deep, but its charms can cut to the bone. Yet, sorry, yet as even the mirror told Snow White's stepmother, beauty can become ugly if it masks a cold heart. Our own culture usually overvalues our visual appetites, undercutting our perceptions of the beauty of good character. In the real world of loving relationships, physical beauty's second place finishers are often the most attractive inside. And remember, mere beauty inevitably wilts over time, while fine character can bloom into wisdom. You know, I think that goes even on YouTube with friends and acquaintances and stuff. One thing I've noticed, I've seen a lot of people lately, a lot of profiles and a lot of real life who this person is. And we all pretty much look the same. We're all a little bit overweight. We're kind of old. We're plain looking people. We're not movie stars and celebrities. It doesn't matter what we look like. It matters what's in here, in the heart, and how we treat people, how we conduct our lives, the things that are our interests and things like that. People get so hung up on that outward appearance thing. And yeah, I like losing weight. I like looking good. I like dressing nice. I like presenting myself in a nice way. Like today, my hair's done. Woohoo! I look nice. I like that with my hair not flying all over the place. I styled it a little differently. I kind of slicked it back. I didn't really slick it. I didn't put like oil or anything on it like that. But it just kind of went like that, and I like it because it looks kept, you know. And I have a nice black shirt on. I have snazzy black pants on, if you can see them. Yeah, I'm looking good. I'm sporting it today. But this is not the me that you need to be dealing with or be concerned about. It's what's in here and what's coming out of here. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. That's what's important, not what I look like, although that has some importance. Obviously, if somebody's really hideous looking, just, I don't mean people that have disabilities. I mean people that just don't bother to take care of themselves, myself included at times, then we're not very easy to look at. We call that an eyesore. But that doesn't mean that that is what matters in the end with relationships. What matters is how are you treating me? How am I treating you? And that sort of thing. We need to remember that. Okay. Are you willing to learn to relax and accept all the games people play in the course of their socializing? Are you also willing to risk sharing your truth so you might discover new opportunities for growth? Go ahead, mix with the world. Well, unless you're a Bible follower, you better be careful about mixing with the world. We're told to come out from among them. So, but I get what they're saying, mix with society. Even if you're far from ready to fall back in love, just find new interactions that you genuinely enjoy. Take the small, safe steps of a child, if you must, in order to get yourself back out there again. Meet new people by mixing in familiar groups and in casual circumstances at first. These first positive social steps you take can pay off in friendships almost immediately. You may someday choose to take romantic chances again, but only after getting your feet back on the ground. That's when you'll be able to make wiser choices. The form your future happiness takes is completely up to you. You are the artist that will color the rest of your life. Give yourself the freedom you need to find your own beauty. Okay. Think of your mind as a racing car. It goes so fast that it's sometimes dangerous to its driver. You're capable of proceeding from point A to point C with such blinding speed that you may never even notice that you passed through point B on your way to C. Gosh, that's true. How can that hurt you? Simple. It permits you to deny the truth of your experiences. Perhaps the best example of such behavior is illustrated when you express feelings ranging from irritation to rage. How did you get there? Most times, you've instantly passed from experiencing the cause of your anger to the experience of your feelings of wrath. You probably aren't even aware that you may have passed through two other feelings on your way to anger. Awareness of your vulnerability, the potential that the new development which provoked you now threatens to undermine your sense of self-worth, and fear, which you can experience as anything from uneasiness to terror. That cat made me itch. Little kitty hairs tickling my nose here. Essentially, fear is often, always, what really makes us lose our temper. What we really have lost, at least for the moment, is our faith in the future. How does that work? Well, let's examine your own circumstances. Do you feel any anger toward your former lover or friend? No, actually, not anymore. Whether you were the one who did the dumping or were the one who was abandoned by another, it's usually the rule that anger served as fuel for a lot of the behavior that led up to and that now follows your separation from the ex. What kinds of fears fuel your anger when relationships end? Let's look at some examples. We'd suggest that you be honest with yourself as we name these fears and answer the question, how many of these fears do you recognize in your own mind? So here we go. Here's some fears. Ask yourself, do I got any of these in my own mind? Fear number 1, I'm going to look like an unattractive fool to others and myself. So this person has ditched you. Now you're going to be unattractive to everybody, basically. That's your fear. Or is that your fear? 2, the pain that I feel now is crushing me. It feels like it's going to handicap my emotional development for the rest of my life. That's kind of the, they took everything I had. I have nothing left to give. I'm spent type of fear. How could I have been so stupid? I can't trust myself to decide who I can trust anymore. Okay, that's a good indication of what happens. Like as soon as you split with somebody, you start feeling like you can't trust anyone because they hurt me so deeply. They betrayed me. They put my personal information out there. They smeared people against me. They turned my friends against me. I can't trust anyone. I've actually said that before, back when I split with Becky and a couple of other people. I didn't think I could trust anybody. And in time, I learned to trust again, and I learned who I could trust. Next fear. I'm financially ruined. I will never be able to recover from the material losses that this breakup has caused or will cause. You will. It just takes time. And yes, they will financially ruin you at times, especially if they're a narcissist. They'll put everything in their name, so you can't pay the bills. You can't call the companies and get things settled. Everything is in their name. You have no say in anything. So you're just financially a mess. But you will get back on top. It will take a lot of lawyers and a lot of fighting and stuff like that, probably if you're married, or just a lot of patience, working, that kind of thing. But you'll get out of the hole, I promise. Or if you really want to play the fear game hardball style, your messages may sound like this. No one will ever love me again. I wasted the best years of my life. I'm going to find myself out on the street, all alone in the world, pushing around a shopping cart that holds all that I own. The old bag lady concept. We don't deny that such outcomes are real possibilities that might result from a breakup. However, you will notice that all of these fears deal with possible future events that haven't happened yet. And they don't have to happen ever. There are two terms for this in psychology. One is catastrophizing. I call it extremizing at times too. And the other one is called future predicting. Nobody knows what the future holds. And even if you're psychic, they only have partial knowledge, okay? Even prophets and prophetesses can only tell what God gives them, and he doesn't give them the full story. So nobody really, truly, 100% knows the future. And if they tell you they do, they are lying to you. So don't be deceived. So don't predict your own future. I'm never going to love again. I'm going to die an old spinster. No, you won't, not necessarily. And if you do die and you're single, you'll find a way to be happy single. You don't have to die miserable as a single. Some people choose to be single and they're quite happy. In short, many of your fears about relationships probably aren't real yet. They are things that may or may not happen. Whether they happen or not may be based on what you do to avoid their occurrence. No, you cannot control everything that's going to happen in your life. But by doing your best to avoid what you fear, you may be able to avoid the painful things you fear. Because as the Bible said about Job, that which I feared has come upon me. And the law of attraction says the same thing, that the things that you most fear, that you speak into the atmosphere, don't be surprised if that's what you keep getting. Watch what you speak out of your mouth too. Words have power. They travel at a sound frequency, and they do produce what you speak out there. I definitely believe that, even as a Bible follower. So what does that say about anger? Basically, that your rages are usually wasted because they express your fear of an outcome that isn't quite real, at least yet. And that you may be able to avoid this outcome if you keep your head clear and face your vulnerability and your fears directly before you decide to blow a fuse. It's an approach that might wind up saving you a considerable amount of money in divorce attorney's fees, or at the least that can help you to save face for your next big romance. That is the end of chapter 29. It was quite a good, informative chapter, I think. Tomorrow is the last chapter. Believe it or not, we're already to the end of all of this reading. That will be chapter 30, and it's going to be called Renewal. So it should be an interesting one as well. Just want to let you know, if you want to learn more about how to heal your broken heart, as I said earlier, there are other days/chapters that I've done that I will try to link on a little card on the side of the screen eventually here. So you just click on that link right there, and you will be able to see another one of these wonderful book readings. People say they get a lot of value out of this. That's what I'm about, is helping you to move on, helping you to find your feet again after being knocked down, reclaiming your objectivity, looking back to who you were and maybe reestablishing that person prior to your breakup, or maybe establishing an entirely new person. That's what it's all about. Don't return to the bondage. You need to renew yourself. You need to be a new you. You need to stand, whether single or with somebody, as a whole person before you can share yourself with another person. So, on that note, does anybody have any takeaways you would like to talk about or input you want to give? It's been a quiet group here, and then later on I hear from people in email or in the comments below, which is all fine and good. I don't mind any of it. Thank you so much for being here today. Like I said, click the little card here or here or here or here, wherever it's going to be, and check out my other fine videos as well. I have videos on how to break your addiction to a person. That's a really good one. I call it my Red Book series. I didn't write the book. I'm just doing a book read and a book discussion that will take you step by step on how to break that soul tie, that connection that keeps you so bound and thinking you have to have that relationship to survive. It's a great one. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for being here. And I look forward to tomorrow or whenever it is that I share day 30 renewal with you from How to Heal a Broken Heart in 30 Days. Be blessed and shalom, everybody. See you soon.